Or he could send me for as little as 5. But he had to send me. Federal law prohibited him from sentencing me to anything lesser. At the beginning of my legal case, his age caused me concern. President John F. Kennedy appointed him to a status of senior federal judge. He must have been destined to practice law, because he somehow managed to grace the earth with his presence for 98 years, 65 of which had been spent as a federal judge. Having presided over countless federal criminal trials, I suspected he'd seen all there was to see. Yet, during my trial, he took pause. In the end, I was pleased to have him as my judge. He proved to be open-minded and truly impartial. As we sat in wait, I hoped he maintained these qualities during my sentencing. My legal case had dragged out in court for 4 years. It cost me $250,000, several friendships, a marriage, and all but deteriorated my relationships with my 3 children. "Will the defendant please rise?" the bailiff bellowed. His voice echoed off the ornate wooden walls of the federal courthouse. Upon realizing my freedom could be snatched from me in a matter of minutes, my right knee began to bounce. "Stand proud," my attorney whispered. "Remain stoic. Win or lose, don't give these sons of bitches the satisfaction of seeing any emotion." "Yes, sir," I responded. We stood in unison. I was a firearms collector. It wasn't my profession. It was simply a hobby. I used it to occupy my idle time. A crutch, if you will, to help me along my path to clean living. I'd quit drinking 20 years prior. I then applied my addictive behaviors to collecting firearms. Nonetheless, I set up a business, paid my taxes, and made certain every transaction was in accordance with the law. The ATF, however, had testimony obtained from an informant that told them otherwise. According to him, I had $2 million in cash and a cache of machine guns in my safe. Nothing, however, could be further from the truth. In hope of finding the cache of machine guns, an undercover ATF agent posed as a biker and befriended me. I confided in him. I invited him into my home. We shared stories. He met my wife and children. All the while, unbeknownst to me, he was investigating me. During the course of that 3-year investigation, he had found no wrongdoing on my part. The upper echelon of the ATF was still attached to the belief that I was a criminal. They brought in another undercover agent. This time, they had a woman pose as the widow of a law enforcement officer. She called me, asking that I give a bid on her deceased husband's firearm collection. She explained that there were complications obtaining the funds from his retirement. She needed to sell the guns to purchase a headstone for his funeral. After visiting pawn shops and having multiple wannabe collectors offer her pennies on the dollar, I was her only hope. In a last-ditch effort to obtain a search warrant for my home, the ATF, through her, offered to sell me a collection of firearms that included a machine gun. I couldn't own the weapon, and I knew it. I explained the federal law governing the transportation of the weapon at length while being filmed by a hidden ATF surveillance camera. I could, however, act as an agent for a machine gun dealer who had been my partner at several gun shows in the Midwest. A week later, after obtaining the prerequisite paperwork to transfer the weapon, I agreed to pick them up. Upon placing the weapons in the back of my SUV, a helicopter lowered itself onto the street just ahead of me. Federal agents armed with machine guns leaped from the earth's every orifice. Mimicking the scenes from a Hollywood action movie, I was zip-tied, tossed into the back of a black SUV, and rushed through the city in a convoy of similar black SUVs. Upon reaching the ATF's headquarters, I was handcuffed to a stainless steel table. As I watched the agents from various federal entities remove their bulletproof vests and secure their weapons, I noticed my fellow biker walk past. He wasn't wearing boots, jeans, and a wife-beater. He was wearing SWAT-type gear, a badge, and had a pistol affixed to his tactical belt. While I was bound to the cold piece of steel, they obtained a search warrant. They searched my home. Upon finding nothing, they got another warrant to search my safe deposit box. After finding nothing once again, they obtained a warrant for my bank records. Then, they searched my retirement account, my investment accounts,